Hey guys, good to see you again. Let's do a Bible study. And I have a radio show coming up. It's going to be very interesting. And a lot of you know that I used to be an atheist. And so I have a special place in my heart for atheists. And we're doing an atheist radio show, a call-in radio show where a sweet, cuddly, lovable, huggable atheists will be calling in. And I'm going to be speaking to them. And here's how you go to that site. If you go to shakanow.net, it looks like that, shakanow.net, see it? At the top, you'll see this big giant shock radio thing right here where it says Shock Radio Online. You click that and now you're at my radio page. Now, we have a lot of shows. I recently, because of you guys, the listening audience, I recently went ahead and got an email from Blog Talk Radio saying that our show was like in the top 200 or something like that. Which I don't know if, I don't think it's the number one show, but we were in the top shows because most of the shows I do, I have live callers call in. So you guys, the listening audience, have made our shows in the top radio shows. Now, on April 4th, we are having a show, and the atheists are going to call in and provide proof and evidence that atheism is accurate and correct. This is other shows that we've had. I had the world famous Ray Comfort on, and let's go through some other radio shows. And by the way, you can listen to this one. We actually talked about certain atheists on YouTube. You can click play right here, or you could download it for free in MP3 format. Now, let me tell you something. I was in the Stickam chat room, and I was talking to an atheist, and he was going through a lot of the Bible and trying to find contradictions, which of course he couldn't. And I asked him if he ever read the Bible, and he's like, yes, I'm an expert on the Bible. And then I asked him, I said, well, what did the veil being torn represent? Because when I was an atheist, I did not understand that. And he goes, well, what do you mean? And I could tell he had not read the Bible. Anyone that is somewhat knowledgeable about the Bible knows what the veil of the temple being torn was. So I'm going to read from, let's talk about it, Matthew 27:50. Matthew 27:50. Yeah. Check this out. It says, now Jesus is on the cross, and he's just about to give up his spirit. It says, when Jesus had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. It says, Jesus, when he had cried again with a loud voice, yielded up the ghost. Now watch. Let's put the light on. Turn some light on the subject here. And behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to the bottom, and the earth did quake, and the rocks rent. So basically there's like this big earthquake, and there's people standing around freaking out. I remember seeing an old movie of where it was showing the death of Jesus Christ, and John Wayne actually was the centurion. And right here it says, now when the centurion and they that were with him watching Jesus saw the earthquake and those things that were done, they feared greatly, saying, and I remember John Wayne said, truly this was the Son of God. And I remember him saying that. And so every time I read this part, I'm like thinking of John Wayne, but he played the part really good. That was like his only part in the movie, where John Wayne was a centurion in that movie. And so if you really want to witness to an atheist or someone that has questions about the Bible, I find by asking them questions and then they get curious, they'll want to talk to you about it rather than just saying scripture towards them. So I asked this person, what does that mean where it says, and behold, the veil of the temple was rent in twain from top to bottom? Well, what that means, and they never really know what that means. And I didn't know what it means. I thought, oh, the earthquake caused it, and that there's no significance to it. Well, during the life of Jesus, there was a temple in Jerusalem. It was the center of all the, religious life, the Jewish religious life. And they would do the animal sacrifices and worship according to the law of Moses. Okay. But there was a veil that separated what's called the Holy of Holies, and that was the dwelling place of God's presence. And it separated from God and then the rest of the temple where the men dwelt. What this veil represented was a separation that man has from God by man's sin. And only the high priest was permitted to pass beyond the veil like once a year. And he would enter in the kingdom of God, he would enter into God's presence, and he would make atonement for all of the sins of Israel. So when Jesus died, the veil was torn, and God moved out of that place, never again to dwell in a temple made with hands. You could read that in Acts 17:24. God was through with that temple and the religious system, and the temple and Jerusalem were left desolate, destroyed by the Romans in AD 70, just as Jesus prophesied, another prophecy that came true that Jesus talked about in Luke 13:35. So basically what happens, it's Jesus dies, he resurrects, and the veil was symbolic of Christ himself as being the only way to the Father, John 14:6. And this is proven and indicated by the fact that the high priest had to enter the Holy of Holies through the veil. But now Christ is our high priest, so to speak. And all of us as Christians believe that he finished the work that he came to do. That's why when Jesus breathed his last and he was dying, he said, "It is finished. It is finished." So this veil being torn from top to bottom is actually a fact of history. It is explained in Hebrews, and you could find proof and evidence of this. Now, let me tell you something really quick because I'm running out of time. A great way to witness to people, and of course I'm always learning myself, guys, but let me tell you what's a great way to witness to people is I will go to John 3:18, right? And I will ask people this question. And I ask this, I got to talk fast if you don't mind because I'm running out of time. I asked this atheist this question. I said, let me ask you a question and tell me if you agree that if this is true, he doesn't have to admit that Jesus is the Son of God or whatever, but if Jesus was the Son of God, and I told him, please be a free thinker on this, if Jesus was the Son of God, and if what I'm about to read you is true, is this heavy, heavy stuff, and is it of any importance to you? And how important would it be to you? How important would this be to you, I asked the atheist, if this was true? And I read this, where Jesus said in John 3:18, he that believeth on him, Jesus Christ, is not condemned. But he that believeth not is condemned already. Why would we be condemned already? Because God's standard is absolute perfection. And Jesus says, because he hath not believed in the name of the only begotten Son of God. And this is the condemnation, that light has come into the world and men love darkness rather than light because their deeds were evil. And Jesus talks about people that are of the light, they come to Jesus Christ. People that are evil, they don't come to Jesus Christ. He says it right there. You can read on. Everyone that doeth light, that doeth evil hates the light, neither comes to the light lest his deeds should be reproved. So I asked this guy, and we're running out of time, I asked this guy, so how important would that be to you? If this is true, how important is this? And he was honest. He said, you know what, if it is true and Jesus is the Son of God, that would be of the utmost importance. And I complimented the guy. That atheist was a free thinker. He was willing to answer the question. Now, he had not studied the historic person of Jesus Christ like I have. I want to show you guys something. Go to my site at shakanow.net. You'll see it right here below, more info on the left or the right of this video. See it right there, shakanow.net. Look below the video or on the right. And scroll down here, and I want you to click on actual prophecies. This is just a handful of them that Jesus Christ fulfilled. Look at all of them. The odds of all these prophecies coming true are like a gazillion to one. God bless you guys, and I'll see you at the radio show. Have a great week.